Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this hearing of Submissions Committee for the Draft Budget 2024-25 and the Draft Community Plan Action Plan 2024-2025, which is obviously being held here in person in the Council Chamber at the Civic Centre South Morang, and the meeting is also being live streamed. The hearing of submissions is a subcommittee that has got no delegated powers and was established to hear submissions from the community prior to the Council making a formal decision. I'm Lydia Wilson, Chair of Council, and I'd also like to introduce my panel colleague, Administrator Christian Zara.
Good evening, everyone.
I'd also like to introduce our Chief Executive Officer, Craig Lloyd, and ask that he introduce our other officers in turn.
Thank you, Chair, and good evening, everyone. I'd like to introduce our Director of Community Wellbeing, Agata Himalevsky, Director of Customer and Corporate Services, Sarah Renner, Executive Manager Public Affairs, Janine Morgan, at the table here, Executive Manager of Office of Council and CEO, Jacinta Stevens, and I also note in the gallery we have our Chief Finance Officer, Aaron Gerard, and senior members of the finance team. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Craig. I note that we do have 3 apologies this evening. Firstly, Administrator Peter Duncan is an apology, and we also have apologies from our Director of Planning and Development, Emma Appleton, and also from our Director Infrastructure and Environment, Debbie Wood. Before we begin, on behalf of Council, I recognise the rich Aboriginal heritage of this country and acknowledge the Wurundjeri Willem clan and Tongarong people as the traditional owners of lands within the city of Whittlesea, and I'd also like to pay my personal respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'll now read our diversity and good governance statement. At the City of Whittlesea, we are proud of our diversity and the many cultures, faiths and beliefs that make up our community. We strive to be an inclusive, welcoming city that fosters active participation, well-being and connection to each other and this land. We commit as a council to making informed decisions to benefit the people of the City of Whittlesea now and into the future, to support our community's vision of a place for all. Administrators and officers, if you have a conflict of interest related to submissions being heard tonight, you may verbally disclose the type and nature of the interest now, but you must make a declaration immediately before the verbal submission commences. Administrator Zara, do you have any conflict of interest to declare?
No, I don't, Chair.
I also have no conflict of interest to declare. Do any officers present this evening have any conflicts of interest to declare?
No, Chair.
So if we move straight into item 1.1, which is the proposed budget 2024-25 and proposed community plan, action plan 2024-25 submissions. And before we hear from those registered to provide a verbal submission this evening, I just want to briefly explain the submission process. During the public consultation period, Council received 14 submissions in relation to the draft budget 2024-25 and the draft community plan action plan 2024-25. Of the 14 submissions received, a request was received by Council from 2 groups, the Northern Oz Lions and West Layla Tennis Club, to speak in support of their submissions, which we will be hearing from shortly. Following tonight's meeting, all 14 submissions will be, including what has verbally been presented tonight, will be taken into account by officers who will in turn brief administrators on the submissions. The 2024-25 council budget and community plan action plan will formally be then presented to the 21st of May council meeting for formal consideration and approval. And we welcome you to attend this council meeting, which is on the 21st of May, or alternatively, if you don't wish to attend in person, you might want to watch the council meeting via council's live streaming. In the week following the council meeting, everyone who provided a written or verbal submission and who indicated that they would like to receive a response will formally hear back from council officers with the formal outcomes of their submissions. In accordance with our governance rules, I'll be using my discretion to extend the available speaking time for up to 4 minutes for each of the 2 submitters that we have here this evening. So that's 4 minutes in total for each organisation. So on that note, could I invite Chintaka, Laxman, Sanjeewa and Manju from the Northern Auslines to please come forward to speak to your submissions. Whoever is speaking on behalf of Auslines might like to come up to the lectern, but you're very welcome to all come forward to sit at the end of the table. Thank you. And please proceed when you're ready.
Good evening, panel members, ladies and gentlemen. I first like to extend my sincere thanks on behalf of the club to Whittlesea Council for giving us this opportunity in placing our submission in support of a ground facility for Northern Auslines Cricket Club. Northern Cricket Club was formed back in 2014 by cricket-loving individuals. Since then, the club has grown with increasing memberships. We proudly boast a diverse roster comprising individuals of varying skill levels, age, and background. Since the inception, the club has been providing practice games, practice sessions for the growth of the skill levels for our club members. And their unwavering support and the support by local businesses has been instrumental to the growth of the club and the journey so far we have come this far. Our vision is to establish a thriving cricket club that embodies strength, inclusivity and success. We aim to offer a diverse opportunity of players of all levels, ages, skill levels throughout their career or throughout the time they are going to stay with us. We have got a lot of different objectives, but providing a friendly environment for all the participants and upskilling their cricket abilities, skills, also personal development and so on. So there are lots of different objectives, but because of the time and constraints, time limitation, I'm not going to detail each and every one. But yes, promoting the cricket, helping the community, supporting the community in shaping up good individuals is one of our main objectives. As a club, we support recreational cricket. We promote recreational cricket by providing cricket gear and hosting practice games throughout the year. We arrange friendly matches with neighbouring cricket clubs that keep up connected to all of our surrounding people with who plays cricket. During winter season, we provide facilities to our members to play indoor cricket. Likewise, we stay in this cricket game throughout the year, both in winter and summer. We also contribute to the cricket development. We host six-a-side cricket tournament and four-nation cricket tournament. This year, we successfully hosted the six-a-side cricket tournament for the 7th consecutive time. Even during the COVID time, we have kept our connectivity by keeping Zoom meetings and so on. So as a group, we are cohesive and we have been keeping intact to promote cricket and help the community. We also support the community funding activities. For example, Cancer Foundation, we help by raising funds through a Pink Day cricket match. So once a year, we host this cricket match with a neighboring cricket team. We get together and raise funds, and we donate that fund to Cancer Foundation. We provide assistance to those in need.
Could I please just interrupt you for a minute, because we're obviously past the 4-minute mark, and if I could perhaps ask my colleague, Administrator Zara, if he would like to move a procedural motion to extend your speaking time for an additional 2 minutes.
Mr. Chair, I'm happy to move that motion for an extension.
I second the motion to extend the speaking time for an additional 2 minutes. I'll put that motion to the vote. All those in favour, the motion is carried. Thank you. You have an additional 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Or up to 2 minutes.
Thank you. I'll be quick. Yes, we provide assistance to people in need. We raise funds to those victims, especially on face the natural disasters. Also, we raise funds to victims of COVID. Now, what we are seeking, this submission is based on a request. We are seeking a suitable cricket ground to get into the competitive cricket in future. Now, as we have grown to a level that we can move to competitive game. So far, we have been engaged, we have been doing this recreational cricket. So, in support of our bid to play in the cricket league, we have discussed with the Northern Metro Cricket Association General Manager. Now, he has given in writing his support to absorb our team. If we produce a couple of teams, he has agreed to absorb 2 teams to the league tournament starting this year. So what we are seeking now is a ground facility. We don't have a ground, although we do practicing and play games in grounds around Mernda, we don't have a permanent ground to do this competitive cricket. So we are seeking this help, assistance from Whitley Council to provide us a facility so we can keep playing, we can enter into competitive cricket, and we can help the community develop cricket in this region. So that's been our main request. With that, I will conclude from here. Thanks us once again giving us opportunity to make this submission in front of this council. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your submission. If you'd like to now take a seat, and I will just turn to my colleague, Administrator Zara, to ask whether he has any points of clarification that he would like to make or like to request.
Thank you, Chair. And just through you, Chair, if I could thank our presenters for their time tonight in coming to make the submission to this hearing process. It's very evident, Chair, from the quality of the material and what's contained in it that we are dealing with some very seriously passionate people about cricket. And that really came through. And I think as well, Chair, I'd just make the point that this is clearly a club that's very passionate about the community, and that really came through as well. It's no small achievement to survive through COVID, and you did that and you stayed together, a great achievement. If I could just ask for you, Chair, just a question of clarification. Obviously you're seeking a ground or facility to use to support the development of your club. You haven't really stipulated a location, although you've given an indication of roughly where you're your activities are at present. I wonder if you might address that issue in terms of perhaps even a preference or where you have in mind or where the majority of your members are.
Thank you, sir, for the question. Well, we are based in Mernda currently. So if we can, we are seeking a facility anywhere in the northern suburbs, preferably closer towards Mernda. Yeah. Even South Morang, any close proximity to Mernda, if possible. Or even we are happy to go even beyond our borders if there is a facility. Thank you.
Please do.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, sir, for that response. I think probably one thing that we see a lot of in these types of processes is requests, but it often is not associated with a time period. Your club has been going, from what I've read, for a period of 10 years, 10-year anniversary. Congratulations, an important milestone. Would you please give the Council a sense of your time horizon for this next phase that you're talking about, because it will help our officers in considering our collective response to your request that you're making to us.
Who would like to respond to that question?
So you want to know the time, the period, or can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes, thank you. I mean, obviously, if you could, I'm sure you'd say tomorrow would be fine. But I guess it would be useful for us to get a sense of what you're working to and working with your other partners towards.
Yes. Now, as I explained earlier, we have had discussions with the Metro Cricket Association General Manager. He has already given support with the written, the letter. We have annexed that one, and we are planning to start our, the games, in the next upcoming season, which means around October. So we are planning to start to that. There will be home played games as well as the games played away. So if we can get a facility right at the start of the cricket season, we can start the practicing and get into the cricket. So that's our intention. So it all depends on the availability of those facilities. We know there are lots of cricket clubs and matches being played. But yes, we are planning for this year.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions, Chair, but just for you again to thank those who've come to present from the club tonight for your making the effort to be here and your submission.
Thank you, Administrator Zara. I do have a supplementary question, and I note from your documentation that you indicate that one of your key objectives is to attract and retain new entrants to the sport, ensuring all parts of society are represented within the club. Could you just talk a little bit more about your membership, the numbers, ages, gender and so forth?
Well, we have approximately 30 members currently, and we are planning to extend, invite more members to join us, because we are planning to start the season with 2 teams, so which requires about approximately 26 members, and we have that currently, and we want to extend if possible, up to 4 teams. And we have a male membership, but it's mainly, we have activities around our families as well. So the partners, kids, everyone's involved in our activities, not only for cricket, but also it extends beyond towards the cultural events, stuff like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then I also note in the presentation that you talked about the fact that you're going to be searching for new funding bodies for new requirements. Can you just elaborate a bit on the new requirements? Is that to allow your expansion?
Yeah, for the last 10 years, we haven't gone or we haven't requested any grants from the councils.
Okay.
But we got a first grant from the council for $1,000 to register our club. That was in 2017. So after that, we have like chain of local businesses behind us. They always comes and help us. So our main sponsor was ANZ. And then now these days, Ray White is taking over the ANZ, but ANZ is still with us. So like that, we have like 30 odd business partners behind our club. And so we have to discuss with them after if we can get the ground, and if we can get a positive approach from this onward, we can discuss with them. We can tell them what our new requirements are. Then we can go from there.
No, thank you for that. I note in the material that you submitted that you've got quite a number of business sponsors, so congratulations on making all that effort. Can I echo Administrator Zara's comments about thanking you very much for making your submission to Council and for attending this evening. We greatly appreciate it. And I just wanted to refer to a comment that was within your document, or it's a really beautiful statement, which was play hard, play fair, and let the love for cricket unite us all. I thought that was a very commendable statement that you make in your documentation. So thank you again. And as we indicated, there is a clear process from here on. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and thanks for listening to us as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So if I could now ask that Andrew, Rodney and Matthew from the West Layla Tennis Club come forward to speak to your submission. And again, if I could ask one of you to go to the lectern and just remind you of the up to 4 minutes speaking time. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Andrew McNeil, so I'm the president of West Layla Tennis Club. I'd really like to thank Council for the opportunity tonight to speak to our submission. Probably our submission came about from a meeting with Council and was done on the night after our meeting, so apologies for it being short. We have no presentation to run by, but I thought I'd just give you a quick rundown about the tennis club and about some of the things we've been doing at West Layla Tennis Club. We are a really successful tennis club in the city of Whittlesea. We have the most junior participation of any tennis club within the municipality, but also within the North Eastern Junior Tennis Association. And all of this is done on 4 courts which are deteriorating. They've been there for over 50 years, with our synthetic courts being 30 plus years with a lifespan of 8 to 10 years. So we've done some really amazing things over particularly the last 10 years. We were top 50 tennis club in the state for a number of years with Tennis Victoria, which is based upon participation. The club was also awarded the most outstanding tennis club in Victoria in 2018, and we were a finalist for the Newcomb Medal in 2018 for the best tennis club in Australia. So that's not something which is easy to achieve, and I think it really speaks to, our club and the inclusive nature of our club, and that's really how we've driven participation over the last 10 years. It hasn't been because of the facilities, but now the facilities are starting to impact on our ability to continue to provide the same level of service to the community. Our club has significant community connectedness. We have a number of programs. So in terms of our school, I think we're in 11 schools within the local area. We currently have a number of programs for women in tennis, which are often funded by grants through council, which we're grateful for. It's also funded by Tennis Victoria, Tennis Australia, and other funding sources. We've probably ran over 10 programs. We've had programs with people with disabilities. We've had programs for Muslim women to bring them into the sport. And our club is, if you come down to West Layla Tennis Club, it is a club which is culturally diverse as any club, and it's a fantastic environment. I think we're really proud of what we've achieved over the last few years in terms of being able to put this great club and actually give back to our local community. We were also one of the first clubs to have Book a Court, which was in 2015, which is the automatic online booking system, which really allows us to drive participation where our volunteers obviously have less time, and it really gives us the ability to open up our facility 24 hours, or not, 18 hours a day, and make sure the facility is getting utilised. Currently, we have over 300 members who are participating members. We have over 1,000 registered participants who use the facility, and we have over 250 coaching participants who are currently getting coached by our coach Top Seed Tennis, which I should note was actually won the Newcomb Medal for the best tennis club in Australia. Best coach in Australia, which is no mean feat. It's a coach who is really committed, and Yvonne Fanton from Top Seed Tennis has really helped us drive junior participation and offer programs to try and entice women to play sport, which I think is tennis. We're probably lucky that it is a sport which females play more than other sports, but it's still a sport where we don't have the same balance between men and women, so we're looking to improve that. Where all this gets to is we were a long way down the path of the Huskisson Reserve redevelopment. We were literally just about to, we worked with council to, sorry, go.
Could I just ask you to pause again while I seek a procedural motion from my colleague, Administrator Zara, to extend your speaking time for an additional up to 2 minutes. Administrator Zara.
My pleasure, Chair. I move a procedural motion that the Speaker be allocated an additional 2 minutes.
And I second the motion to extend the speaking time for an additional up to 2 minutes. I'll put that motion to the vote. All those in favour? The motion is carried. You have up to an additional 2 minutes.
Thank you. I'll be quick from here. So where we got to was we developed the plans in consultation with council, which the plans design was ready. It was about to go to tender, and then obviously the draft budget was released where Huskisson Reserve redevelopment wasn't in there. So for us, it was trying to understand what had changed within council. So we're here to really speak to, I think, the need for this facility. We want to make sure it remains a priority for the City of Whittlesea, and I think we can, as a really active club with great governance and I think an inclusive conduct, I think we can really make the most of this fantastic facility that City of Whittlesea was proposing. We're concerned that if it's not developed soon, then it may not happen given the cost increases and things which may eventuate. And where council's already invested over $1.5 million to date in actually designing the facility. So in terms of where to from here, we just really want to put forward how good we think our tennis club is and how many great things we're currently doing for the whole community.
Thank you very much. If you would like to take a seat. Administrator Zara, do you have any clarification that you require at this stage?
I don't, Chair, but I thought I'd take the opportunity to commend the club for its achievements, which are significant and over a long period of time. It's really evident to me from not just this presentation but from speaking to other people that this is a club that's invested significantly in the young people, and you see that in the results over time. Those additional elements that you talked about today in terms of your inclusiveness and in particular reaching out to all members of the community really set this club apart, I think, and put you into the very top tier of high-performing sports clubs that we're lucky enough to have in our local community. I did hear that commentary earlier about is council in support of the club, etc. Chair, these budget processes are important for us to receive these submissions. This is not a decision-making process today, but I can assure the club through you, Chair, that we absolutely take very seriously your submission that you're making to us today, but also all of your achievements and the things that you're seeking to do for the community over time. And I guess I just make the point that all of what you've achieved hasn't happened in one step. It's happened over multiple steps by generations of people just like you. And I'm sure that I speak for all of the three administrators when I say, where we see community spirit and effort like yours, our instinct is absolutely to support it in every way we possibly can.
Thank you, Administrator Zara. I just also have a supplementary question, which is again on your membership. And you talked of the statistics. Can you run through them again? I thought you said 1,000 registered participants. Can you just tell me a little bit more on the breakdown and the coaching, gender and so forth?
I can. So in terms of the 1,000 registered participants, this is to do with our booking system. So everyone that books our facility has a registered account with the booking system.
Yeah.
So we've had 1,000 people who are registering to book. So you don't need to be a member to use the facility. So anyone can play at West Layla Tennis Club. All they need to do is go onto our website, book a court, and they can play. So it's really is opening up our tennis club to anyone that wants to play tennis at our facility, and that was the whole basis for Book a Court, and that's why I saw it as president at the time. I thought this is a great system, which really does open up facilities for them to be used, which obviously is a council priority. Why pay money for facilities if they're locked up and no one can access them? So this was a great facility, which allows maximum participation, but then also in terms of the makeup of our numbers, so we've got over 300 they're playing members, so that's junior, I think it's half junior, half adult, roughly in terms of our membership numbers, and we have focused on juniors. That's been, we had no junior clubs, no junior teams for 25 years, 10 years ago, and since then we've grown that to 12 teams and the most in the whole area. So it has been a focus of us, and I think that's really helped us strive as a tennis club and increase that participation. We just had our club champs, which went for a month because we had so many injuries. So it's quite difficult on full court sometimes, but we just have to take what we've got to get the most out of the facility.
Sorry.
That's okay. In terms of coaching numbers, so Yvonne Fanton coaches over 250 people there on a weekly basis. And
you said that anybody can jump on and access the courts?
Yeah, so currently yes, that's the case. We also got, so council assisted us getting new access to the facility. So we've got a door which is linked to the booking system, which actually opens up the toilet area within the pavilion. Okay. It keeps the balance of the pavilion locked and secure, so that way when people book the courts, they get access to the toilets and other facilities. The new facility is actually something quite exciting, which has pickleball courts. I'm not sure you've heard of pickleball, but that's the fastest growing sport in the world.
No, I heard you say it, and I was going to ask that. So can you explain?
So hot shots, so initially when the plans were designed, they had 2 standalone hot shots courts, which is just a miniature tennis which young children play with red balls. I'm on the board of Tennis Victoria, and also obviously alive to opportunities, and effectively a hot shots court is the same dimensions as a pickleball court, and utilising our booking system, I saw an opportunity that we could actually utilise effectively the hot shots courts, which are initially for hot shots, but they're actually pickleball courts, so that they can be booked by any of the community, so they can come and play pickleball, which is something which hasn't been trialled probably anywhere in Victoria. So it's a great opportunity, and I think as a tennis club, it adds to us being sustainable in terms of being able to offer different services and aspects which will help the club. I think in a world of declining volunteerism, it's something which we always need to be mindful of, and this automated system really provides us guaranteed revenue without actually having to do anything.
Thank you for that. Sorry about the asides, but I was just having an aside asking the CEO what has actually been included in the draft budget. So I'm going to ask Craig to clarify what is actually within the budget.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So in the draft budget, there is an allocation of $350,000, which is to commence the works. So the reason we do that now is traditionally council budgeted for all of the works in 1 year, and then we'd end up with carrying money over from year to year as works progressed. If you imagine in a procurement process, the first part of the year is taken up with tendering, all of those things that you'll be familiar of, and then you try and rush the works in the last part of the year. So what we do now is we do all of that early work, put some money into the first year, so think of this as year one, and then the other money comes into the second and third years, depending on the length of the project. So there is that $350,000 commitment in there for next year.
Yeah, thank you.
Does that clarify it further for you?
I think from our point of view, it was difficult to understand where that wasn't communicated initially. So that was obviously only communicated after the substantive works were taken out of the budget, almost like, well, we are committed, we're doing the NBN and electrical works. And we just want to make sure that obviously that, it is still a council priority because for us, we'd already communicated the change from when we were about to go to new facilities and use other courts, clubs and other clubs' courts, and we were also trying to obviously communicated that to our members. So it's obviously the communication for us is really important to make sure that everyone, because numbers are starting to decline due to the facilities. Like we recently had a net pole break in half due to being rusted out. Our courts have got tears and repairs everywhere, so it's something we need to keep communicating to our membership base.
I don't have any further questions, but can I again thank you so much, as Administrator Zara said, for coming along, but most importantly for everything you do on behalf of our community. I just think what you've told us today and elaborated on in the range of programs, what you've done to reach the achievement level that you have is really quite outstanding. I just want to make a comment that as administrators, we've done a lot of master planning in our term, and we've been incredibly committed to make sure in terms of strategic planning, but also the proper rollout of those master plans so that they can actually be delivered. And I think Craig indicated to you quite clearly, it is really about that sequential, making sure things occur, the consultation, so that there can be the delivery as well. So thank you again. And as we indicated earlier, we will be formally writing back to you all after the council deliberations on the 21st of May. So thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Administrators, we have got an officer recommendation before us, and I'm hoping it's going to be projected. There it is. So do I have a mover for the officer recommendation for item 1.1?
I'm happy to move that, Chair.
Thank you, Administrator Zara, and I'm happy to second the officer recommendation. I'll now put that motion to a vote. All those in favour, the motion is carried. Just to conclude, can I again thank all of our submitters for coming along this evening to present to Council. And we thank you at the outset for actually providing feedback to either the council budget or the community plan action plan. And that brings us to the end of the hearing of submissions committee meeting this evening, and I declare the meeting closed at 18:38. Thank you again.